Well, it's finally about time. Hello everyone, this is Flosscat, and welcome back from a ultimate hiatus, even though technically, thinking about it, I think this series usually gets somewhat hiatus in some cases. But welcome back to another GPReed theory video. I am super sorry for this taking so long, and kind of holding off on it a bit, but we'll get into the reason why in a bit later on in the video why this has gotten off and such. But I am glad that I'm finally doing a GPReed theory video, and admittedly I'm finally glad that I'm also now starting back doing this video where I have my freaking phone on the window, because it's been a while since, mostly because my freaking video, my everything channel is becoming more like a freaking gaming channel at this point. I don't know. But, of course, enough about that. I'll get into more reasons why this thing was delayed a lot, because there's definitely some interesting things. But before we do that, we do got to literally talk about a lot of things. Because today we're coming out strong with 3 big reveals, and technically a bunch of stuff that's going on around GPReed, and even Mikey Lugo is a little bit in it, but I'm going to save it off more later towards when I do another Mikey Lugo video. And of course we have to explain why there was a big hiatus, not on me, but pretty much this entire series in general. And fun fact, I am connected, but we'll get into that BS in a bit, or later on. But of course, I think it's about time to talk about certain things. So, this is definitely a very interesting thing, because there was a lot revealed in very much. And by the way, I won't get into all of the things here, because really, it gets a little bit confusing even for my brain. But I have pieced up together a lot of stuff. So first off and foremost, I think it's worth noting that we have a new aura in the series. And this starts us off with a baby bird version of it. I don't know if it's a girl or a male or a female, but I do know it has a female voice, so it might be female. And pretty much this video is just a recap of what's going on. And it has some very interesting things that's very unique.
Digital people. My name is Radiance Aurora, and I'm here to get everyone up to speed. 4 friends unite over a grandfather's research. E, S, J, and G. E loves all things new. The grandfather had many rivals, who started out working for him. The fact that the project was completed made its way to them, through a leak made by a volunteer lab assistant, and the many rivals began scheming for a way to take ownership of the grandfather's work. Since they all had built its base together, they all felt that they should own it in part. The grandfather was made aware of this, and began to hide and divide his life's work. Before he could finish, however, he sadly passed away. The task was now in the hands of the 4, who inherited the grandfather's work. However, due to multiple lies among them, they split ways. 2 of them moving across the 1. The grandfather's house caught fire a little before things started to collapse. Who started this fire, and why? 2. A woman, who we will call Kay, is one of the grandfather's oldest partners. She built the interface, alongside the grandfather's son. She lost her mind, while trying to use the finished design for her own means. Why did she break? What were her intentions, and why does she live with a power company president now, as a guest? 3. Why did G create a new team of minds, only to deconstruct it months later? 4. What is Plan B? All of these questions will be answered, but to do that, we must first look to a hidden second notion. See you all in day 18.
Woof. I know, right? It begs the question if those are actually questions or answers. That's literally what I am saying. Dang, the fucking sun today. Hope my camera doesn't get burned. But still, the point is, yeah, there was a lot of info that was revealed, and no doubt that 18 also had some info as well. We'll get into that in a bit, but let's talk about that video. So first off and foremost, like I said, I don't know if it's a female or male. We're just going to call it an aura, but you heard the name, so blah blah blah. And we can see that it also backs up the theory that aura is a robot kind of thing, majig. Since we see it literally get booted up. That's literally how the best way to explain that whole thing. The second thing is very big because pretty much originally, like I theorized, G could possibly be Grant, not the actual Grant, but the character Grant, you know what I mean. And we could be seeing that G represents that character as intended. Of course, previously I thought that G stand for another thing, but it has been. I think this just confirms that G represents, Grant, because after all, there was 4 characters, and Grant was one of those characters to build that thing. But the next thing that was revealed that is very big is rivals. And this actually now gives us the answer to why Soul Corp is kind of wacky in some way. I mean, I don't know. I still don't trust Soul Corp no matter what. We all know that. But now we understand why they're one of their big plots is, and understand why they want to take over the GPReed company. It's because they want revenge, and it's possible that they're the rivals of this grandfather, which, presumably Jay, it's Jeremy, and if I recall correctly, that's Jeremy's grandfather or whatever, blah, blah. But here's the bigger twist, other than that question, is the second question, being that it's just referred to a person named K, which we might actually know, and pretty much as the thing has explained and blah, 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 through weird questioning, which act like Jeopardy, it's literally, they just described freaking Naomi, and it just revealed that Naomi might be an assistant to an electric company. After all, while Soul Corp, it may be a multitude company, really, be honest, we did see in its ad during the time where GPReed tried to literally work with them, and all it flopped because of reasons, they did have a factory. It is not like uncommon that companies will have different types of things. Like, the best way to describe it is think of the freaking that Final Fantasy VII people, the Mashira or whatever, the electric company that had an army and blah blah, or any other company. Like going back to the Pokemon thing, freaking the team Cosmos or Moses, or however you pronounce the one that Chairman Rose is in. I call it Team Cosmos because that's literally what they are. I don't care who you call it. But they own different companies, even ones that you don't know of. Technically, they kind of own the entire thing. So it makes sense that that is the case. And the weirdest part is, this also now confirms why Naomi, it could be possible that Naomi is still a real person, but the rest of the Naomis are actually all robots that Grant built. Why, we do not know, and my gosh, hold on. Okay, I'll just hold it like this, because the sun is literally just beaming like holy shit. But anyways, this just confirms a lot of things. And really just leave answers instead of questions, even though they are pretty much true. Like, still, who was the one who burned the grandfather's house? Which, by the way, might be that same house that we saw the woman buy. And why is Naomi named K, and who's her real name, and why they're working with an electric company, which is Soul Corp. Which, by the way, even the name itself is saying. And if you thought that video was crazy, the actual day 8 was very weird. Like, really, I am going to try to cut pieces off a little bit of that video, but the whole thing is definitely interesting. So the first interesting thing we see is, of course, the Hootie and Crest. Which makes sense because of everything. And it has been confirmed that through this thing that, everything. But it has confirmed that they saw stuff on there and, mentioning Germany and blah, blah. But they also revealed that they're trying to protect Grant from something dangerous. What this is unknown, and, Makes sense. They're kind of now the actual good guys in this, but it's definitely weird. What's even more interesting, though, is the fact that Aura is keeping them in check, which makes sense since, he's probably more of the bad guy in this situation. Or not, who knows. But it is definitely interesting. And as we talk, next up we hear this.
To the pharmacy. Trust me. She's a centipede.
Which is very ominous and sound like, and let me pause this so we don't want to get but it sounds like a lot of, this thing. And let me sound like Naomi, and let's back up a little bit for a bit so we can hear this correctly. Because if I'm correct, what I heard.
Don't get the medicine from her.
Okay, I misheard. I must have a Mandela effect, but I thought I heard ambulance. But pretty much it refers to centipede and pretty much the medicine again. Why centipede? I don't know. Unless they're trying to make a reference to that weird horror movie. I don't know. But then afterwards, we get a very bizarre scene. Something that really is comedic, but is also suspicious. So we see three people. This is obviously possibly Grant, and the other two is... I don't know who they are, but I have a theory that this might be people that Grant has worked with, and they're just featuring in this film. But I don't know, it's just weird. Just one guy is dancing, and this other guy's like thinking pose. It's just weird. I think Grant can just explain in general who these two are. But what is clear is this is no doubt a mockery towards the point out thing. Like, for those who do not know or have not seen any other videos where I point this out, like the freaking magical Anya, in order to, and they still do this to this day, but one of the reasons to find a criminal is they have a group of suspects and they line them up and point them out and stuff. So pretty much, and here's the weirder part: the skeleton dude, which is also Grant, jokingly speaking, because mask, points out what appears to be the actual Grant out here, and this is what he says.
Not really. 5 years ago, you were part of a deal. A deal that involved referrals.
Yeah? What of it?
I figured we could help each other. I get you out of jail. And you provide me with a list of your referrals.
Why would I do that? You already got me out of jail.
Because I'm not done. If you give me that list, I will consider your bail money paid back. And my personal attorney will represent you in court. Free of charge.
Sorry about that. I was talking to Erwin, I think. I have to double check and see if you guys saw that. But make a long story short, the scene in question was the boss, the skeleton dude, literally saying, I got you out, and now you need to give me files. Again, I have to double check if I did. I think I did, so if I didn't, my bad. But the point is that it does explain the relationship towards the boss and him. They made a deal. Now, what this deal is, we don't know. Of course, next up, we hear those more talks from Grant about certain things. He's calling on the phone for something. And we see the shed stuff and all that. And then we get to the fact that he's talking to someone. Talking about all the credit again. And pretty much we don't hear it because he's still talking about some certain things. But it's very interesting, and they form a contract. It's very interesting. But that's not the biggest twist. This is the biggest creepy twist that ends. So here it is. Yeah, a very killer chicken, I guess. guess or turkey. I don't know what that is. That looks like a fat aura. Is that a fat aura? Like, I know there's a lot of auras, but is that a fat aura? Oh, I'm gonna end all of this and crush you. I don't know if it's comedic or not. But it's kind of interesting, because the weirdest part about it is, like he said, he will be the end of everything, so it doesn't answer the question, but it does tell what he's going to do. But the crazy part is, as many people can point out, that is similar to the other clone of Hootie, which ironically also attacked Aura. So, could he be another connection to Naomi? Who knows? But it's definitely very interesting. But the biggest thing here to take away from this thing is the fact that it's now explained the origin of why GPReed is so under much stress. It's not just because there could be a connection to him trying to find this Crush girl, but also because the fact of the matter is he does now have another deal with the devil here with his boss. And it could be a thing. And one more thing, I don't know why GPReed put the Nesquik thing in there. Like, if you watch back the video, he does hold a Nesquik, and they point it out. I guess it's a joke. Another theory is it could be another symbolic symbolism on how Grant in this series, and not trying to do this, but in Grant's character could be a JA, jackass, and he could be in jail, which still begs another question: why is Grant imprisoned? What happened? It makes no sense. But it could explain also why why the other people don't trust him anymore. It's because he might have did something, and now there could be guilt over that. But why the Nesquik? I don't know. Like, my theory is it could be representative of Jackass because there's a jackrabbit in it. Well, if the Nesquik character isn't thing, I don't know. You just have to ask him. And P.S., I'm not calling Grant a jackass. It's just, hilarious that he did that. It's probably just another thing that he's comedic tone. But it's definitely something we should not overlook. Now, the final thing is very quick, and I probably will still show this, but there is something we need to note. So the final video, which I decided to kind of show off, but since the timer is wacky, so I'll just talk about it, plus also not really a big deal, because this is more towards Mikey Lugo's thing. But if you guys recall earlier this week, I rewinded a darken video saying darken in the TARDIS error. Now, there's nothing too much about it, but there is a mention of Naomi in it, in the reverse. I'll send a link down in the description down below of the Naomi thing, so you guys can see it. But long story short, it's definitely weird, and I'll probably talk about more about that part in the future, but pretty much it confirms something big, but I won't get into it. I recommend you watch, I will send it down in the description below, but I recommend you watch my reverse video of that. But of course, there is one more video I'd like to showcase real quick, and this is kind of not that big, but it's something I do want to kind of showcase off a little bit.
Okay to get confused. Everyone gets confused sometimes. Confusion is natural. When reading multiple books at once, it is easy to get the story elements and characters mixed up. Is that what you did? You are so silly, dear. Stay safe.
Ain't that the truth, since I'm oftentimes confused with the story. At this point, I'm making like a freaking documentary of how interesting this story is, though I keep losing the elements sometimes. But there's actually a reason for this video, and this leads us to the end where I have to explain something. So, I kind of already did a rant of this, and GPReed also did kind of a rant, but explanation. But I want to talk about something that happened and explain why this video was super delayed. So, if you guys have been paying attention, at least last month, a little bit of a shit hit the fan. Well, I wouldn't say last month. I think it was August when this happened. But a little bit just hit the fan about certain something. That video isn't actually truly possibly connected to Naomi or the story. It's actually more of a reference. And I am going to kind of break fourth wall, but as we all know, I do this on purpose. And this is the reason why, of course. But someone, I won't say who it was because I think he's already been taken care of. But you kind of already knows who he was. Kind of took away things too far with this ARG. It was sloppy. He literally messed it up and actually almost did something so bad that he could have got in serious trouble with it. I think he did. But the reason why I'm bringing all this up is this did delay the thing, but the biggest message I want to bring out of that thing, like, again, I'll send a link down in the description down below if you want to hear the story. And the reason why I'm involved is because he did it on my own channel, which, by the way, I'm not mad at it anymore, but I'm still salty that some bastard had a nerve to use my channel as a scapegoat, considering that we all know that my channel is not as very popular as many. That's why he didn't do it on GPReed, because GPReed has over, like, 1,000 subscribers, and I only got, like, a little subscribers. That's literally due to comparison. But the point is, he took it way too far because he thought this thing was real. I want to repeat in a more clear voice, this is just a ARG. And I want to make it clear that unlike any other ARG people who try to explain this, I want to make it crystal clear, because I feel like that is kind of a problem nowadays with ARGs, like fucking I Am Sophie BS crap, that they try to do it so realistic that you gotta call the fucking cops BS. Which he didn't do that, he instead do something completely worse and stupid. And I want to make this clear that everything happening, including even my own ARG, which, let's be real, is kind of, you already know it's kind of not fake. Well, it's kind of not real. Sorry, I'm confusing. But the point is, this is just fake. GPReed characters, you can tell he's even doing it on his own, like the freaking skull thing, like I jokingly speak. Everything is just fake, it's just a little bit of an own project, art project, and that's just everything else with ARGs. Again, I may have to do a separate video explaining this, because this is kind of a little bit of a concerning problem. I kind of already did a rant about it because I was still pissed off, but that was kind of a emergency update to let you guys know. And again, I'll send a link down in the description for GPReed's video on his take, because he does it much more better than me explain what the fuck happened. But still, I want to make it crystal clear for everyone's sake. This is just a ARG, aka a story. It's like frickin' Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, except without puppets that much, jokingly speaking. Like, literally, please be careful, because really, like it states, it can get confusing sometimes. Again, I don't know how this guy went too far. I'm kind of still pissed off at him, and he is kind of blocked on my channel. I just hope that the other person, like, again, look it up. I'll send a link down in the description below, but I want to make it crystal clear. This is just an ARG. Everyone probably already know that. Please, be careful. But anyways, this has been Floxcat, and I'm definitely snapping out of here. Bye-bye.